Hello and welcome. I'm Ailsa Robson. I love to listen to people's life stories. I'm a psychotherapist and someone who has realised that striving for perfection doesn't bring you happiness. Instead, I now advocate for adding compassion to your life while simply doing the best you can. I have an array of friends and peers who also have been unpacking how perfectionism shows up in their lives. And now I've recorded some of these interviews and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you. Please enjoy and let me know if anything resonates. Good morning, Fiona. Fiona Shilton from Your Estate Lawyer. Thank you so much for joining me today and having a conversation about perfectionism and compassion.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
I know.
In the most unperfect way, mate. That's what it will be.
Absolutely. Well, you have been kind of double daring me that I've asked you on to have a conversation. So do we need to put a warning sign up or, maybe some expletives or, a bit of cussing that could potentially happen within our conversation?
I can make no promises that I won't, but because it's your show, I will behave myself because Ailsa's listeners will get scared. I already want to, you're daring me now in the whole stirring thing.
I am. I'm starting off. We're starting off on an imperfect page, but maybe I'll give a bit of background as to I met Fiona through friends a couple of years ago, and now we're also in a similar business network, SA Woman Business Network, and it's been really fantastic watching your business grow, my business grow, and to share a lot of this conversation, I think.
For sure.
I suppose, yeah. So maybe,
and the thing about that is that every time we catch up, it's never small talk. It's never small talk with someone like me around. It's just straight into the nitty-gritty stuff. So,
yeah. So. Well, I think that's why we hit it off straight away when we first met. So maybe we'll start off and I'll ask a little bit about what fills your days in your life.
Yeah, sure. I got caught up on the idea of busy. That's not me. I'm not busy. Anyone asks me, are you busy? It depends on what you mean by busy. Am I making money? Yeah. Am I spending time with people that I want to spend time with? Yeah. Am I saying no to things? Yeah, I am. I am a recovering proper lawyer and I have 5 children and a husband and pets and things like that. So I spend my time, I work in death law these days. I'm talking to people about what does it look like in the event of your death. So I'm very mindful of just being, and I make decisions about how I spend my time because it's not going to be forever. I'm not anti-busy. I'm not anti-hustle. I understand that people are at different phases in their life, but at 44, and I have a 23-year-old, 21-year-old, 11, 9, and 8-year-old. I've been there. So I don't celebrate busy. And I spend my time doing things that matters to me. I often describe it as retirement living. I'm doing things these days that I will be doing until the day I die, mobility, permitting. I read and I hike and I spend time with my kids and other people that matter to me. And for the first time in my life, I actually really I love deep. I take care proper, if I lose a pet, I am devastated. And I can't say I would have been like that 10 years ago. If you don't love yourself, you don't love others, if you don't think you're worth it, you don't give it to others, and you're just busy rushing through that thing called life. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting a lot of shit off my liver these days because I have death chats with my people every day in the process of doing estate planning. So, yeah, I spending my time.
Yeah, and wisely and purposefully and lovingly.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I have a lot of should haves or could have or could be or like everybody else, but I'm quite mindful of regrets. Like if because like I said, like this whole chat is going to be about death. Life coaching is about death. If you think about death, it gives you a better life, I believe. So I'm quite mindful of what would it look like if I read out my eulogy, if I wrote my eulogy today, would it matter? Would the people, the things, my successes, whatever, would they matter if I read them out in front of a group of people? How creepy if I'm already dead, by the way. I'm reading out my own eulogy. And it's just changing my lens, I haven't changed. Me as a person I've not really changed. Everything is in there, but I'm hoping I've pieced it together like a jigsaw or a Jenga or something, and you're getting the best version of me these days.
Oh, that's great. Well, I certainly see that people are drawn to you and they're drawn to your message and they're drawn to your work. So I think you've certainly nailed that, and that's when people connect with you and your purpose, then you know that you're doing something right. So yeah, I think that this is why why I want to chat with you today as well, because I know that this conversation will be very interesting. Like perfectionism, like what we just spoke a little moment ago. Give me your take on how perfectionism has kind of shown up in your life.
Yeah, for sure. I want to say, I say this all the time. I'm on the radio once a week as well, and I keep saying, I haven't done any research except life. I haven't read up about it. I'm not a psych. This is Fiona's view on how this works. I just have this precursor, the Fionaism about the way the world works. I believe that perfectionism is a byproduct. It's not, I've never really seen other people, it's like a badge of honour type thing. I've seen the idea of perfectionism. But what it is a consequence of conditioning. It's a consequence of being raised to be a good person and to be punished as a bad person. I believe that mixed in with conditioning, we also have something known as scarcity. There's not enough for all of us to go around. And then that continues to condition, control and coerce us into seeing other people as our competition because we need to be the best. I need to be the best. For me to be the best, I'm then congratulated for being a good person. I get, and it starts very young, I get a bit more ice cream in the bowl than my sisters. I don't get put in the corner and excluded if I'm good. But the good turns into the best. Right. So perfectionism to me is a byproduct of that because I'm not going to start anything unless I know that I'm the fucking best. Right? Because the fear and shame attached to being the bad person or not the best, only coming second or third or on all the things. And I've got plenty of examples of in my own personal world where the audacity of a person at sports day to say that the runner next to me was first when I know full well my nose is a lot bigger than hers and I was first the best. But the shame and fear I carried for not winning that race, that is what causes the consequence is perfectionism. I just think perfectionism is a state. It's a place. How I pull myself up on that is just to note that it's just your fear talking. I just need to show up. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad to be here. I'm not dead yet. And then tap into your why. So for me, my why is I've got 3 small children. One of them a foster child with high needs. It's only been living with us for a couple of years. So the mind-blowing recognition that I need to change, because I expect people to be like schmick before I'll even look at them. Well, in the same breath, I think I'm like kind and inclusive, but recognising that, I want to say a million criticisms because I've got to get this kid up to speed about the way the world works when you're with me. If you want to sit at the table with me, you must do certain things. But you think about that, I'm a prick. Like, I'm so results driven. All the things, right? And when you recognise that all that kid needs to do is show up, well, fuck me, why haven't I given myself that permission just to give it a crack and to show up and to hold space for those weird idiosyncrasies to occur? But to be the best, when you're conditioned to be the best, there's no room for those differences. So I never forgave myself if something didn't go right. So therefore, very hard to forgive others because, like, you've got in my way. And I've done all those things without even realising. So that idea, that perfectionism idea is literally, to me, a byproduct of fear and shame around I need to feel safe. If I'm a good person, I'm safe.
Yes.
And then that ties into success, competition, and all the things, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm here to say, just get off the wagon and just be.
Well, that's the whole point of these conversations that I'm having with people is to offer these perspectives from different people about how to get off the perfectionism wagon, how to add more compassion, how to understand how shame has really influenced your life. And and I think that you've just explained it kind of in a complete
Mate, I'm a lawyer. A Fionism. I'm a lawyer. So I've given you my problem, my solution, mixed in a bit of like proof. I have spent all my life on the trajectory, and because of my personality type or whatever it is, I haven't spent too much time thinking about it. I actually have succeeded in the world of I have a law degree, I have several degrees, I have a couple of degrees, I have a husband, I have a family, all the things. I have been miserable. Yeah. Miserable most of my life, not just miserable, but frantic, afraid and frantic and all the things right? So if having a child with special needs that's made us all stop and focus has been one of the critical points of that. The excellent things in our life are because of him. A couple of the rubbish things in our life are because of him. But aren't we all rubbish? But that has been. It was an extremely traumatic experience for me. Just talking about me at the moment, and I've just managed to somehow not give up. and also know that I actually, because I kept searching, I'm still searching for the answers, but what I did was, through a lot of it, not through my own thought, because I just kept, I'm hashtag unemployable. I couldn't get a job. So I had to, I've already got a toolbox. And then I already had the answers. And I can't do, like, so I'm a lawyer, I can't do family law. I can't do, I just get too deep. I care too much about people. So I just found a way, I've found a way to take care of my family in a way that helps them, actually matters to them, because it's not just about money, it's about like time and flexibility and all that. And also, though, my inner ability, not to kill people, has increased, because I am forgiving myself and therefore forgiving others. Yeah, I'm not suicidal, I'm not homicidal, I'm not trying to kill myself or anyone else at the moment, because I'm actually just recognising that I have very good intentions, I'm showing up, and that's all that matters, you know? Yeah.
So the self-compassion, or the compassion for self, is heightened as much as your added compassion for others, and
for sure,
Harry's given you that in spades.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. It's I realised that I'm hard. Like I was saying to you earlier, I recognise in the last 18 months or so that I actually love properly these days, not because I've been hard-assed, just because I've been protecting myself my entire life. Like, if you're in survival mode, you don't stop and love anything in case you lose it. Yeah. You take things for granted. So and when you're forced to stop and actually take proper care, and also out of that process, though, it actually gave me permission to take care. It's
I like that.
Like your values, right? Like, everyone around me, give up. Well, what do you mean? Like, that's not it's not there. It's a person, like, right? And I have learnt more, like, more than he has. I've learnt more. And I haven't changed. It was just there. So that question about compassion, right? What I've done is, again, I haven't changed. I've just realised changing my lens, right, is that I needed to be somewhere. Now, to be there, I must do these things. To do those things, you must get them right. Now, if I have somebody in the team that gets one of those things wrong, well, I'd smash them. Yeah. But if I got one of those things wrong, I've smashed myself. I've said worse things to myself over 44 years than anyone else can ever say to me, because my need to feel safe is so high. Like, I'm hypervigilant, and I didn't know any of these things. Until my whole world, and then I'm just slowly creating something out of what I already have in me and around me. Yeah, and then that's your estate lawyer. Yeah, and
that's exactly how I describe it when I'm working with my clients, is that everything that you need, everything that you're searching for is already within you. It's just that you just need to unpack it and dig deep. But the work that I do is actually just witnessing their work. And it's fantastic, because you're right. Like, I feel very similar in lots of ways. For me, I suppose my turning point was probably when I started to engage with a different idea of body image and how I felt about my body. And I had to break down a whole lot of inner dialogue about what a good body was and what a bad body was, and where I learnt that, and that there were other opportunities of being compassionate toward myself. And then that just, like, once I broke through that, then that led me to deciding to go back and do my master's degree. It allowed me also to be like my parenting was, mothering was really, really important as well. And then it led me to just be braver with a whole lot less perfectionism, and so braver to make more mistakes, to keep succeeding, but succeeding's not even the right word. It's just to live more purposefully. And that led me to starting my business, and then deciding that I was going to do walk and talk therapy, and I was going to, I don't know, do some other odd things within my practice that isn't kind of the same as everyone else. And you're the same. Like,
exactly.
Your business is the same. They're uniquely, authentically us. And then when people connect with what we're doing, we're on a roll. The right people come to us. Yeah,
exactly. You're taking care of, like, that's the thing for me as well, like lawyering or psychotherapy, accounting, all the things, right? There's an industry. Yeah. My industry's over here. I'm over here somewhere over there. I meet my clients where they want to be met. Estate planning and planning what happens in the event of your death is a big chat. So I meet them there. Elsewhere, I meet my professional obligations over here, of course, like that's where we have a fence line, but I'm just there. And what I'm doing is the same as you. You're showing up for them, because we're actually in the trenches as well. Like, I understand from a professional point of view, like, they don't need to hear all my ins and outs. But people do need to know that they're not alone. We're not alone. Like, this is a learning. Hey, and every client teaches me something new. And this old bloke said to me only a couple of months ago, and I've repeated 100 times, he said to me that Harry will be okay when he learns the art of living. And I'm like, what do you mean? What the fuck? Like, what's the art of living? Can you please, forget Harry?
Give me that knowledge. What is that?
What is, like, to even, that has completely blown my mind, because this whole, like, I'm here and I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I'm not in high school, and I'm not living other people's lives. Even that idea, right? The art of living is just whatever you need for well-being. And I'm here to say, like, because doing this, right, so hanging out with clients, man, I'm just getting shit off my own liver. I'm using my clients. I invoice them and I'm using them myself, but we're thriving. We're thriving with this new lens. We're just being, well-being, like that idea. And that means that my imposter syndrome and I'm arrogant enough to have imposter syndrome. Have you thought of that, right?
What do you think? It's arrogance? It's arrogance to have imposter. Yes, I understand that.
It is. I am so good that I have imposter syndrome, but then I have to talk to my imposter syndrome, because I'm actually excellent, so go away. Oh, you're that good? You think you're that good? Well, that's number 2 imposter syndrome coming after you there. You're getting double teamed by your imposter syndrome gang. I just leave them behind me, and I just keep showing up. That's the way to do it, and to be brave. And the way I'm brave is by having a really strong why. Yeah. So it's not about willpower or motivation or I don't know. It's just the courage comes from having a really strong why, and mine is A, #unemployable, and B, just like just walk in with good intentions, and if I say the wrong thing, that's okay, because I actually do mean well. Obviously, I have competence and care, and I'm doing kicking all the boxes around being a good estate planning lawyer. But like clients don't actually care about that, which scares me, because then I feel like a snake oil salesperson. It's also me imposter syndrome and perfectionism coming after me though, going,
you've got
you
it.
can sell anything.
Yeah, well, that's it. And that I agree. All of it. I agree about all of it. And I love how you have put so much thought in it. All of your posts on your business are so personal, and that you share with your clients, like I share with my clients. But you're right, it's sharing, but it's not about our stuff, it's their stuff. But you do need to have that common ground, so they feel that you are walking alongside of them, rather than up on a pedestal and telling them what to do. So I've got questions, but the questions are, we've gone beautifully.
Ask me a question.
Oh, okay. Ask you a question. All right. Well, you gave me a beautiful long, like you spent a lot of time on my questions and wrote them out. And I know that through that process, like, you've obviously been able to figure out what perfectionism and compassion mean to you. But what do you think the gold is coming through for you from the questions and also our conversation? What's shining through for you just in this moment now?
Good on you. Jeez. Your questions beforehand, like, and talking about perfectionism and stuff, actually gave me, it's tying up all those loose ends. Because like I said, I'm seeing people doing estate planning 5 to 10 times a week, having death chats, finding out what really matters to people. What I'm personally working on at the moment is really understanding this idea of what's theirs and what's mine, and even past stuff, right? And it comes around to not just forgiveness, not that word, that's too easy. I mean deep-seated, terrifying guilt that I'm a shit person. Like, because, out of my drama, there's a lot of rejection around me. I've been rejected. So working out what's theirs and what's mine, and where we're at in life, and what they are, right? So it's grief, and it's lost objects, and it's also about knowing that I disappoint people because I don't meet their expectations at the time. And that's theirs, because I can't be everything to everyone. But fuck me, why don't I afford other people that same gratitude that, grief and loss and boundaries and who you choose to spend your time with and all the things is disappointment. That I'm not meeting your needs or your expectations at the time. So that's the big one, right? Because I am, I'm excellent. I'm doing, like, the people around me that choose to be around me are doing excellent. But I got grief. I have lost objects, and it's really thinking about, do I need them? Do I have anything to reconcile? And that ties back into this stuff about, you think you're that shit hot that you need all the, I get to dictate who spends time with me or who comes near me. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the big one. And it ties into my safety. I have, there's a lot of social constructs out there that tell me what success looks like.
Yeah.
And family is taking care of each other. That's all family is for me. It's not necessarily biological. It's logical. It's you choose them. Family, it's a verb for me. You're taking care of each other.
Okay.
And if you're not taking care of me, or if I'm not, we're not family. And that's my, there you go. That's my,
so the reflection from your clients of some of your own grief and loss and your own experiences is kind of at the forefront of what you're noticing at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've sort of worked through the layers, like perfectionism and compassion. That was a big one for me, really. I'd read about it, I knew about it, but I hadn't worked out how to actually change it in me because I've built a life now, right? We've built one. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. And I get the best out of me. So I've sort of done that first layer, and then I've got this next layer out here because I'm a lawyer, I'm a fixer. I want things to be a certain way, even getting my head around that. I'm a puppeteer, you are to be in my world and you shall behave a certain way, so it is that next layer, that next level out from me. It's going, is there anything there I need to reconcile? Is there anything there I need to fix? And the answer is no. Because I am, like you said, I'm testing myself every day on that. Because the other point is narrative. Am I telling myself something to help me sleep at night? So I test myself on it in different ways. But it's also just acknowledging that it's really, really sad. I have sadness. I am very sad. It does not mean that I need to fix anything, though. So that's the sadness.
I like that because I often, what we do feel that we need to do is to get past sadness, but allowing sadness to be part of our life without being afraid of it and without pushing it away is actually really empowering, and it can be very very healing. When you embrace sadness almost as a friend and allow yourself to be in that moment and then and to move through it, because there's usually a finite moment. It won't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Whether you're feeling angry or sad or hurt or disappointed, it doesn't last forever. And you spoke earlier about and reading all about perfectionism and knowing about it, but not actually, I suppose, embodying it, embodying like what that means. Because we can't intellectually think all this through and read books and get it. We have to do the gluggy, crappy work. We've got to get in the mood.
Another old bloke. I'm so disappointed it's been blokes the last couple of times giving me these gems, but I couldn't make any changes while I was still living other people's lives. Other people's lives, right? So that means that I went to high school and got the best grades for my parents or for whoever. I then did the next choice I made is because that's what you do. That's what you do, to get to where you need to be. And then before you know it, you're living other people's lives where most people are living someone else's life. And so the things like those inner things, because perfectionism is an essential tool if you're living someone else's life. If you're working in a profession that's dog eat dog, or, you know, and it can just be working at Coles. Like we're all covering our own asses, protecting ourselves because we've created a life that doesn't belong to us. So that's the thing. I'll give you another Fiona-ism. And this has been for me personally the biggest help. A lot of people are choosing to stay away from me because of my behaviour. So my behaviour has been the focus rather than the reason why I've behaved certain ways over the years.
Yes.
And I wish I could challenge anyone that wanted to be challenged, because I can't force this stuff onto anyone. But behaviour in children, teenagers, adults, look for the cause, because I'm an unleashed, untapped whatever I am, right? So when I'm highly stressed and don't even understand why I'm highly stressed, I behave in certain ways. So my behaviour has always been the focus in my world, instead of big things like child abuse or you know, I don't know, whatever else, all the other things, or dishonesty, hurting other people. Like because for me safety is so important, and I've got I've got masking behaviours. I'm articulate as heck. I'm loud. I can argue, I can pull it all together, mate. Like my hypervigilance, I'm the eldest, I'm all the things, right? It just is the way I am. I haven't yelled at anyone in 18 months, 2 years. And when I did do it to a friend, I spent weeks working through that. Because I used to be like that all the time. When you're around toxicity, living other people's lives, you can't see it, right? You don't know, and it becomes about changing my behaviour was the thing. It's like, no, there's some deep-seated issues here. So there you go. That's my one for you.
Well, I appreciate both those points about recognising when you're trying to live someone else's life. And that is, I would say that's 99% of the work that I do with clients, of course, and my own work as well. And the second point was about understanding that there's reasons behind people's behaviours. So by being curious, I would always use the word curious, because then you are open to learning more. You're not judging that person for their behaviour. You're being curious about what's behind it. And that doesn't mean that you have to fix it. And that doesn't mean that you have to understand it. And it doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. But
or put up with it. You don't have to put up with it either. That's right. It's not that.
You create your boundaries around what you're most comfortable with about that person's behaviour, and but the curiosity, hold the curiosity first and foremost in your mind and your heart and your soul, and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, because then you're not making a judgment and you're being the kindest person you can be to yourself and to other people. Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's exactly right. I used to use this saying all the time, like, no one come up to me patting me on the head saying, that'll do, pig, that'll do. You know, no one said you're okay, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm such a force that, I have accidentally, I think there's a psychotherapy word for it. It's called post-traumatic growth. I have every aspect of my life got smashed to little pieces. None of them related to each other, but when you're the central point, you're like, this can't be just a coincidence. I'm a shit person, like this idea that you're just completely and utterly rubbish as a person. And then digging deep. I want to tell everyone too, I don't feel like I chose to start a business. I never, ever intended, I never thought I was good enough to be a lawyer. It was because I went for 4 job interviews. I'm a 13, 14-year veteran lawyer, and I couldn't get a job in my area. I went to 5 interviews, and I was being rejected by them. And that's a gift. Thank you. Thank you to all of them. Every time I have to write to them now, I say thank you, because, I was still thinking that I had to be chosen by the employer, and that I had to somehow change my behaviour to fit into their workforce, into their workplace. And my values are not in line with a general law firm. People first. I care about the person, not just the legal problem, I just, so it was out of complete and utter necessity.
I love that. And I remember when in that moment when we met, and and it's beautiful to watch you just fly. It really is. And I'm excited to be, part of that, with, part of your, network and around you. It's intoxicating, and it's inspiring. And I'm really, really grateful that we've had this conversation today.
Thank you.
Because you just maybe what I'll do is I'll ask at this point, about links to your website and social media. I'll put them all into the clip. But is there anything you want to say about your business and what you offer people?
Yeah, sure. So as your estate lawyer, I'm coming to you and meeting you in your own space, and giving you as much time as you need to really gather your thoughts and think about what is it going to look like if I lose capacity, like if you lost capacity, you're unable to take care of other people, let alone yourself. And then the ultimate event of death, like what does it look like? How are you taking care of each other? Your estate lawyer recognises that we're working so hard every day to take care of each other. And so we want to be able to continue that in the event of our death. And I've got all the tools for that.
Yeah.
My business has had a massive accidental, there's a bit of a wave of something happening because there's a bit of death coaching there. I call it death coaching. There's plenty of life coaches out there. Because what we do is really recognise what matters and what doesn't. And I find that my clients are making proper, real changes. So you get your legal products, you get your wills and the enduring powers of attorney, advance care directive. We nail down your superannuation to make sure that a trustee of a super fund doesn't make that choice for your family after you're dead. I do those things. They're legal products. That's easy. That's the end product. But the process is transformative. Yes. It is better than this is a funny story. This is funny. I've had 3 marriages during my business. I've only been up and running 8 months. 3 middle-aged people, 3 couples have married as a result of estate planning because of the chats that we have. They, for the first time, look at each other and identify or recognise, that you are my number one, because you've got a lot of white noise around when you're onto your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th relationship, So estate planning is really nailing down what are your values and are we on the same page? And then I provide the legal solution to their objectives, So it's bigger. The other thing is too about you fit into, I've been calling it a death team, but I don't think my marketer would like that.
I'm cool with being like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, I'm calling it like the care package or something like that, because I'm in people's homes and I meet people, I'm at all different phases, and I give out, because I'm there and people love me, I am constantly referring to like counselling service, my catering service, physio type stuff, the finance guy, and the personal concierge, the organiser. But it's just a team of people that in your community that care about you and are going to help you get where you need to be. Yeah. Oh, and death doula. That's a whole other story. Yeah. And funeral celebrant, a different, just funeral celebrancy as well as death doula, you know, because we're not doing death real good. We're not doing it good.
We're not, and we're not, and we're not gathering enough information around us about our choices and you know, and advocating for ourselves. This is it, you know, this is advocating for ourselves and our loved ones. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We're relying on broken systems. We're relying on broken systems. And I talk another Fionaism, right? We are worker bees. Because worker bees consume, consumers have to work. We hide our little kids in childcare centres so the worker bees can keep working, and we hide our disabled and our frail in nursing homes and resi care so that the workers, because if you see death, you might stop consuming. If you don't take care of your little ones and your frail ones, then you stop working. So we've got this real consumer working thing, and I'm not up against, I don't mind that, but we're not taking the time. We're not taking time to take care of ourselves and take care of our little ones and take care of our older ones because we are afraid of missing out. Competition, scarcity, conditioning, all the things that make that happen, right? Yeah. And our lens has changed as well. For me, success is having time to keep my little one home from school today because she's a bit unwell. That's success. Yeah. Right. Success is wearing whatever I want. I love it when someone says, "Oh, what are you wearing?" I'm like, "It's called none of your business. I do whatever I want." Like, you know, like it's like, and like, it's because systems are created to keep you doing certain things and conforming. Conforming is a way to keep you in those systems, and you don't actually take care of yourself is the big one, and others. So that's your estate lawyer. That's what I'm doing every day. I'm busy as too. Like there's obviously, how sad is that? There's a need for it. Yeah. A need for a lawyer. Yeah. Like who would have thought that a lawyer that cares is a tool, is my difference. It's my point of difference. Whoa.
I hear you. It's that heartfelt, genuine, authentic connection that you have with your clients, and you can't fake that. You can't fake it. So, but, you know,
I've been spending my whole life not doing that, being told off for that, because my triggers and my behaviour is because people are being hurt. So that's the hilarious thing about all this. Like that's why it's so, and back to that perfectionism thing, it's still, and that compassion thing. I'm getting a lot of, I sort of go, oh, that's an old way. That's an old thought. Why am I still trying to take that with me? They're old. That's part of the infrastructure from the old system.
That's really great that you've been able to find that, to be able to externalise those thoughts and notice them, you know, outside of yourself. So, it's that curiosity and that opportunity to reflect in the moment is life-changing.
I'm lucky. It's lucky. I'm lucky to be able to do it. Yeah. So hang out with me, and we'll do it again. Come up with your next subject, Ailsa. We'll have another crack at it.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. This is awesome. Well, I might finish up there though. It's been awesome to chat. Like, I can't wait to see the transcript in this, because it'll be like, you know, beautiful conversations that whiz around and they connect, and this there was an epiphany here, epiphany there, and how they interweave together. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And please, if anybody has any need to, everybody has a need to catch up with Fiona, but just follow her on social media too, because there's some gems in there, absolute gems. Yeah. So thank you. I'll say goodbye.